Hey guys, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this captivating stamp animation in just a few simple steps inside Premiere Pro. So let's get started. Alright, you can see on the timeline, I have got a background. Firstly, we have to enable the ellipse tool, which you can find here. And then we have to draw a circle on the program monitor. You can hold the Shift key on the keyboard to create a perfect circle instead of an oval shape. After adding the circle, let's go back to the selection tool by clicking on this icon. Next, let's move over to the Essential Graphics panel. To access the Essential Graphics panel, you need to go to the Window panel, and then click on Essential Graphics. First of all, we have to make sure that the circle is in the center position by clicking on these two align icons. Next, we need to disable the fill color of the circle by clicking on this box. After that, we have to enable the stroke by clicking on this box. And then we have to make the stroke value around 35. Also, make sure that you have select color for the stroke thickness. I'm going to use the dark gray color for the circle. Lastly, click on OK. Alright, now you can see the circle shape is ready with stroke thickness. Now let's right-click on the circle shape layer, and then click on Rename. I'm going to call this Circle 1. Now we need to duplicate the Circle 1, that's why let's right-click on the Circle 1 shape layer, and then click on Duplicate. After the duplication process is complete, rename the new layer to Circle 2 for better organization. Next, ensure that the Circle 2 layer is selected in the Layers panel. To resize this new circle, adjust the scale value to approximately 65, which will reduce its size for the desired effect. Also, we have to make sure that the circle is in the center position. Now we need to zoom in on the program monitor. In the next step, we have to draw two lines for the stamp. That's why let's click on this new layer icon and then click on the rectangle to create a rectangular shape. After adding the rectangle shape, we need to disable the stroke by clicking on this box. After that, we have to enable the fill color by clicking on this box. Also, make sure that you have select a fill color. I'm going to use the dark gray color for the rectangle shape, and then click on OK. In the following step, we need to adjust the dimensions of the rectangle shape, making it larger or smaller as needed, and position it accurately within the layout to achieve the desired visual effect, something like this. Alright, after the first line creation process is complete, rename the new shape layer to Top Line for better organization. Now, we need to duplicate the line shape layer. Click on Duplicate. After the duplication process is complete, rename the new layer to Bottom Line for better organization. Next, ensure that the bottom line shape layer is selected in the Layers panel. And then, to achieve the desired positioning, we need to adjust the bottom line by carefully lowering it to the specified location. This can be accomplished by modifying the Y position parameter, which controls the vertical placement. In my case, this is the perfect position of the bottom line. Now, we need to carefully remove the extra parts of the two lines that extend beyond the boundaries of the circle. That's why, let's move over to the Effect Controls panel and then find the bottom line shape layer section. Now we need to create an ellipse mask by clicking on this icon. Next, let's customize the ellipse mask. Firstly, we need to hover at the corner until we get that kind of rotational symbol, and then press Shift on your keyboard. After that, you will get this double arrow, and once you see that double arrow, then left-click and scale down the mask something like this. Now you can see the extra parts of the bottom line have been removed. In the same way, we need to remove the extra parts of the top line, so let's find the top line shape layer section, and then we need to create an ellipse mask by clicking on this icon. After that, we need to customize the ellipse mask. To ensure a clean and polished look, we need to carefully remove the unnecessary parts of the top line. Alright, now you can see on the program monitor, the extra parts of the top line and the bottom line have been removed. In the next step, let's move over to the Effects panel to apply an effect. This is a Roughen Edges effect. Now let's drag and drop the Roughen Edges effect onto the graphic layer. After that, go over to the Effect Controls panel to customize the Roughen Edges effect. Firstly, from the Edge Type parameter, we need to select Cut, and then we have to make the border parameter value around 20. Also, you can zoom out on the program monitor to focus on the details. Next, we need to make the Edge Sharpness parameter value around 2.50. And lastly, we have to make the Complexity parameter value around 10. Alright, now you can see the changes on the program monitor. In the following step, I'm going to add text inside the stamp. That's why, go over to the Essential Graphics panel and click on this new layer icon, and then click on Text. Now you can type any text that you want. After typing the text, we need to select a font. You can use any font that you want. Next, we have to make sure that the text is centered by clicking on these align icons. After that, we have to scale up the text to fit with the stamp. Also, make sure that you have select a color for the text. I am going to use the dark gray color for the text. Alright, you can see on the program monitor, the postage stamp creation is complete. Now it's time to add an impact animation for the stamp. In the Effect Controls panel, we have to find the Motion panel. Firstly, make sure the time indicator is at the beginning of the graphic layer. After that, we need to create keyframes for the scale parameter by clicking on the stopwatch icon. And then, we have to make the scale parameter value around 1111. Again, we need to move the time indicator 5 frames forward. Here, we have to make the scale parameter value around 75. Then, let's right-click on the second keyframe, and then select Bezier. In the next step, let's find the opacity panel. After that, make sure the time indicator is at the beginning of the graphic layer. Now we need to create keyframes for the opacity parameter by clicking on the stopwatch icon. After that, we have to make the opacity parameter value around 0. Again, we need to move the time indicator 2 frames forward. Here, we have to make the opacity parameter value around 100. Alright, now we are done. With these couple of steps, we have created this postage stamp with impact animation. Also, you can decrease the duration of the postage stamp. In the following step, I am going to use a star circle for this stamp. I have got a star circle PNG image on my computer. Let's drag and drop the star circle image inside the project panel. After that, make sure the graphic layer is selected. And then, let's drag and drop the star circle image in the Essential Graphics panel under the text layer. After that, we have to scale down the star circle image to fit with the stamp, something like this. Alright, if you want to change the color of the star circle image, we need to apply an effect. This is a tint effect. Let's drag and drop the tint effect on top of the star circle image in the Essential Graphics panel. After that, go over to the Effect Controls panel to change the color of the tint effect. I'm going to use the same dark gray color for the star circle image. Alright, now we are done. The star circle image has been applied. In the next step, we need to incorporate the stamp sound effect to enhance the visual transition. This sound effect will help to create a more dynamic and attention-grabbing experience for the audience. In the last step, from the Effect Controls panel, we can adjust the rotation value to approximately -24 degrees. This adjustment will create a dynamic effect, causing the postage stamp to rotate in a clockwise direction. Alright, in this way, you can create a postage stamp animation in just a few simple steps inside Premiere Pro.